What if every moment of your life, every joy, every mistake, every heartbreak had to be lived again and again, forever? Would you still choose the same life? This is not science fiction. It's one of the most disturbing and profound thought experiments ever conceived. Friedrich Nietzsche called it the eternal return. And once you understand it, your worldview may never be the same. Because this isn't just a theory, it's a mirror. One that dares you to face your life with terrifying honesty. Nietzsche's eternal return is deceptively simple. Imagine living your exact life down to the smallest detail, over and over again for all eternity. Not in some reincarnated form, but exactly this life, this version of you, with the same regrets, the same failures, the same triumphs. Now ask yourself, would you curse that fate or embrace it? Nietzsche presents this as a test of how deeply you affirm life. It's not meant to be answered with logic, but with your soul. If the idea horrifies you, maybe it's because you're not truly living a life worth repeating. And that's the point. The roots of the eternal return go back to ancient philosophy and cosmology. The Stoics believed in a cyclical universe that endlessly repeats itself. Even Hinduism and Buddhism echo similar ideas. But Nietzsche wasn't interested in cosmic recycling. For him, this was personal. This was a hammer, a psychological tool to smash through the illusions we live under. He once wrote, "What if a demon crept after you one night and said, 'This life, as you now live it, you must live once more, and innumerable times more'? Would you throw yourself down and gnash your teeth, or would you say, 'Never have I heard anything more divine'?" The eternal return is Nietzsche's way of confronting us with the weight of existence. Because if your life has to be repeated infinitely, then every moment becomes infinitely important. You see, Nietzsche wasn't writing for comfort. He was trying to wake people up. The eternal return is dangerous because it destroys excuses. You can't hide behind someday when someday has already happened and will happen again, exactly the same. It leaves no room for regret, no space for next time, only this time. And that terrifies the average person because most people live half lives, drifting, numbing, postponing. But Nietzsche's philosophy dares you to live with such intensity that you would gladly relive it eternally. That's not just a demand, it's a rebellion. Empires, whether political, religious, or ideological, thrive on linear time, the promise of future glory, salvation, progress, destiny. But eternal return mocks all of that. There's no final victory, no promised land, no redemption arc where everything makes sense in the end. There is only the eternal now. This destroys the foundations of empires built on waiting for heaven, for utopia, for judgment day. Nietzsche knew that once people stop believing in future illusions, they can no longer be manipulated by them. Eternal return, then, is not just a personal test. It's a philosophical Molotov cocktail, one that can burn down systems built on control and delay. But Nietzsche didn't want to plunge us into despair. The eternal return is brutal, yes, but it's also beautiful. Because if you can say yes to your life, even with all its flaws, then you have achieved something extraordinary. You've become what Nietzsche called the yes-sayer. Someone who doesn't wish life to be different, but affirms it totally. That's strength. That's freedom. Not in chasing pleasure, but in embracing pain, struggle, and even tragedy as necessary parts of a life worth living. This is what Nietzsche meant by amor fati, the love of fate. Not just accepting what happens, but loving it as if you chose it. Because if you must live it forever, why not choose it now? So ask yourself, if a voice whispered right now, "You will live this exact life again forever," would you rejoice, or would your stomach sink? The eternal return isn't about metaphysics, it's about meaning. It's a challenge to stop running from your life and start shaping it. To act with such purpose, such intensity, that you wouldn't change a thing, even if you could. That's not just philosophy, that's a revolution.